giving updates on matters in the courts and current affairs. That is her tagline on social media. She really is brilliant. Our Kgomotso Modise joins us now in the studio because with so many parallel processes underway at the same time, some of them investigating sort of the same things. You blink it and you miss it. And so what we've decided to do is to kind of every week give you a wrap up of what's been unfolding. Kgomotso, as always, a great pleasure to have you with us in the studio, especially. Let's start with the Road Accident Fund. We've spoken to the SCOPA chair, the Standing Committee on Public Accounts chair, Zuma, a number of times on this. And one of the things he made very clear was that if Collins Letsoalo refused to appear before the committee, he would be he'd be arrested.
Absolutely. Good morning, Bongani. So, there's this threat from SCOPA to basically lay criminal charges against Collins Letsoalo. And what we know is that the Committee for Public Accounts has approached Parliament, the National Assembly Speaker in particular, for concurrence on this, to say, let's carry out this process. And that's because Collins Letsoalo failed to appear before SCOPA. And he was handed summons, but he ignored those completely. And it seems he's refused to be held accountable. Now, I saw his interview with the SABC, Bongani, where he was speaking to Clement Manyatela, where he had detailed how for him, SCOPA is not the correct body for him to account to. He says his biggest challenge with this is that, number one, there are clear directives on where he should account. And he also says that his problem with this particular inquiry before SCOPA is that summonses plays so many roles in this. From being,
he calls him the witness, jury, prosecution, judge.
Everything.
And
he says he doesn't want to account there. But I think my biggest question and challenge with that then is, this is an opportunity for you to account. And Collins Letsoalo, if you've been following him, had been the person who'd always come out to say that he wants to save the RAF from losing all this money through corruption. You remember how he almost closed the tap on those channels that the lawyers were using in order to help claimants at the RAF. And he seemed like a champion, an anti-corruption champion. So I think it's rather interesting that a man that branded himself as this person who wanted to restore the organization is now refusing to be held accountable.
So what happens now? Because for 2 days they waited for him and he didn't show up, and doesn't seem that he wants to. What happens now?
So SCOPA is adamant that he be criminally investigated. And the process really does start, at least from SCOPA's point of view, with getting Parliament to agree, or the National Assembly in particular, to agree. They've approached the Speaker to back their decision. And then they go into the police. And then a criminal investigation will happen, and it will be seen how Collins Letsoalo can be held accountable. And if he can be, I've been thinking about the charges that he could potentially face. I suppose they'll have to craft a case, Bongani, that speaks to the fact that he's failed in his obligation to account.
Well, he'll also have to explain how, for example, the security budget went from 500,000 to several million for his protection, those armored vehicles, all of that, which, according to the security assessments SCOPA has seen, was probably not necessary. Now, let's move on to another big story this week, and this involves the MKP Member of Parliament, Dudu Zuma, who is being accused of recruiting potential combatants to go fight in Ukraine. We were scheduled to speak to one of them who phoned us in desperation saying, I need to get out. Yeah. And this is the last voice note he sent to us. It's in isiZulu. I'll translate, but it's quite chilling.
Siyahamba manje siwahamba manje la siyakhona amafoni awafuneki bazowathatha so angazi noma siyagcina ukukhuluma nawe manje bengibikela lokho nje siyahamba manje yabo fikhomando manje sasihambeni asahambe sonke so 5 angazi noma kusaqhubeka lento yaba 5 days kusihamba siya kwiwo angazi but so amafoni azowadingeki lapho angazi ke hayi sizokhuluma masikwazi ukukhuluma sure.
Essentially there he says that was the moment they were being taken away. So remember, this is just a few minutes before he was going to give us an interview to tell us about his fate, how they were recruited, what they were there to do. And he said at that point they came to fetch them. In another voice note, I think to one of my producers, he says they were being given combat gear and he wasn't certain if they're going to come out of this thing alive.
Sure.
Will Dudu Zuma come out politically alive from this?
You know, Bongani, my heart just sinks when I listen to that voice note because what we're hearing here is that these were unsuspecting people that had no idea what lay ahead. And Dudu Zuma, I think she recognizes, what's going on here. And that's why she's come out to say it wasn't me. And she says that she also was duped. She also was deceived. And she's gone to the police.
I'm a little thin on the everybody was duped. I mean, we don't have enough ways to train security guards in this country because ostensibly that's what they were told. But all these families are pointing the finger at her.
Absolutely.
And her woes could worsen.
Yeah, but she understands the seriousness of this. And I think that's why now she's coming out to frame it as she has. Now, whether it's true or not, I suppose it's for the police to determine. There is an investigation that's underway. It's still currently at inquiry stage, Bongani. That means that the police are seeking to establish whether there is any culpability, any people that can be held liable, if there are any crimes committed. It's at an elementary phase.
Her own sister laying the criminal complaint?
Yeah, the sister lays a criminal complaint. She then lays another criminal complaint, not against her sister Bongani, but against the person that she believes was the recruiter, the person that she says duped them. And that's what's at play here. But I think the priority should be getting these people back home.
All right, very quickly. Last night, the Chief Justice, Mandisa Moyo, issuing a statement raising her concern about the judiciary being caught up in accusations of impropriety. No better example than Judge Phahlane accused of 2 million rand bribery?
Yeah, that story, absolutely insane. Judge Portia Phahlane, who sits on the bench in the Pretoria High Court, accused of taking money, taking bribes from one Michael Sandlana. Now, Michael Sandlana is one of the 3 people who believe they are the rightful leaders of the IPHC Church. And there'd been a succession battle that's been playing out in the Pretoria High Court that Phahlane had been presiding over. And investigators in the state claims they have evidence, Bongani, that proves to the fact that Phahlane was paying or was paid by Sandlane for judgments in his favor. Yesterday, she was in the Pretoria High Court. She had a mask on. So was her son, 32-year-old Kgomotso Phahlane, as well as another accused who is the spokesperson for the IPHC Jerusalem faction. But yes, I mean, this is extremely concerning for the judiciary, especially in a time like this where there are allegations lingering from that July 6th press briefing by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. It really speaks to what's going on here within South Africa's judiciary.
What is it about this surname, Phahlane?
I did not want to go there.
Let's not go there. Thank you very much for that update. I think you've put it really, really succinctly, and we've got a sense of what's going on with those. Kgomotso Modise from Eyewitness News.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.